Hey, it's been a while. Um, I had teased this coming out a while ago, and I had a full version of this in the works, and I just didn't like how it was going. I was kind of miserable with it. So I just recently got motivated. Hey, let's try it again. So here is the final summary video for the Power Mac G4. I would have really liked to show you the splash screen as it opened up, but unfortunately, the way that I'm capturing the video that you can see on your right there is through a DVI to HDMI adapter, which works fine, except when you're trying to capture it through a capture card. The capture card does not want to stay awake through the boot up sequence for some reason. So but we'll look at what is on here as far as operating system and all that. And I'm sorry that you are looking at me in 720. I cannot find my tripod for the life of me. I have no idea where it is, and so you're just gonna have to deal with my laptop webcam. Um, yeah, and sorry for everything. But yeah, tis the season for sweaty foreheads, so I'm wearing a bandana. So, the Power Mac G4 is complete as it's probably ever going to get. As you can see, this is the desktop. I'm sorry it looks like that, but as far as I know, there's no way to like snap these icons to a grid like you would on a modern Windows computer. So they're just all over the place. Um, so let's see what we got here. How do I get to that? About this computer? Yeah, there we go. So, and I don't think I can make this any bigger, but there we have it. I had already shown that this has a 1.5 gigs. When I got this computer, it had 768 megs of RAM. I think that's it. Whatever the 700 level is of RAM. And I switched out two of the sticks for half gig sticks. So it's up to the max for this particular Power Mac G4, the graphite model that you saw in the little intro there, which should be in 4K and sound really nice, hopefully. So yeah, it's got 1.55 gigs of, excuse me, 1.5 gigs of RAM. That's the most it can take. Later ones could go up higher. I didn't bother looking into that because I don't have a later one, so I'm not sure how much larger. Uh, it shows the version of Mac I'm running on, Mac OS 9.22. So I had a really hard time getting Red Faction 1 to run on this machine. If you watch the earlier videos, you know that that's why I bought this machine. The only version of Red Faction that wasn't represented on the speedrun.com boards was the Mac version. And just because I think the way I do and I have this sickness or whatever, I said, "Oh, I got to do that." So I found this. If you looked at the earlier videos, I think this was $76 from came somewhere from the Midwest, and it came with it had Mac OS X at OS 10 and Mac OS 9 point something on it. Um, and I couldn't get Red Faction to run. And one of the reasons why is I didn't have any storage on the hard drive. It's a 10 gig hard drive, it's the original. And so I just started deleting things right and left. Well, I think I deleted stuff that, in a modern PC would be on System 32, as in you would not be able to delete it because it just didn't work. If you saw any of those videos, you saw that there was this yellow fog persistent in Red Faction. I don't something with the lighting maybe. I have no idea exactly why that happened. But I just couldn't get it to run properly. I was running blind. And I wasn't sure what to do. So I added the more RAM to 1.5 gigs. I switched the processor in it, from the PowerMac G4 300 megahertz to the PowerMac G4 450 megahertz. It's still slow. That is the second fastest processor you can put in this thing. As far as I know, you might be able to put in some of the later ones, but I'm not really sure about that. And it so yeah, it was still slow, but of course, it didn't fix the issue. I bought a ATI Radeon 9000, and it was the PC version of the card. There's a specific Apple version of that card that may or may not even work in this either. So I'm stuck with the ATI Rage Pro 128 that's in there. Uh, for whatever reason, the graphics cards that I was looking for on eBay were pretty expensive, especially for what they are. I'm not going to be running Crisis on this thing. So I stuck with that graphics card. So I was pretty discouraged. Had no idea what to do. I'm kind of out of my element when I'm dealing with machines this old. When this came out, when this was on the market, 1999, I was still in elementary school. So I don't have a lot of experience with these things. I don't think, let me say, I don't think that the problems I ran into are Mac specific. I believe that these problems that I was facing are just from the age, because vaguely remember PCs having similar types of issues in the past. Where I definitely remember some games just wouldn't run if you didn't have the right system. So I'm not blaming Apple or this particular machine for the problems I had. I'm blaming myself because I deleted all those files that I shouldn't have. So what did I do? Well, I looked on eBay and I found a uh, what are they called? All the like install discs for the system, like software restore discs, kind of thing that you would call them for a PC. And so I just put that in, and voila! I Interestingly, when you um, reinstall the operating system on a Mac, at least from this age, it doesn't format the hard drive. So I still had all of my files on there. But all of a sudden, Red Faction was working. So yes, it worked. I was able to fulfill the goal that I had for this machine, and I did do a speed run. Let me see if I can bring it up for you. Okay, so here is the speedrun.com board for Red Faction 1, and this is for the PC version, as you can see in that subcategory. And where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Last. And I just felt that that was kind of fitting because Red Faction does not run particularly well on period correct hardware. I'm not sure if it would ran particularly well on period correct PCs. I don't know as if this is specific to the Mac version or if it just doesn't run well. So there I am, the only Mac run on the board, and I'm last, and I'm fine with that. I thought about. Let me take that off. I thought about trying to make it easier to do another speed run, because one of the hard things with running on an old machine, running on a PlayStation 2 even for this game, load times. The load times are less on the Mac than than the PlayStation 2, as it should be. PlayStation 2 had to load from the disc. This is loading from the hard drive, but the load times are still pretty bad. Doesn't look particularly good compared to playing it on PlayStation 4 or a modern PC. So I tried to figure out how to get a more modern hard drive in this, and I've totally failed at that, and that's okay because I still was able to get my goal done. I'm just not able. I'm not able to redo my goal, which is fine because like I said, I almost feel like it belongs to be last on the leaderboard. So I tried a IDE to SATA converter. That did not work. I tried a IDE to SD card converter. That did not work. I thought that that would be more likely to work, but it didn't. I think that the problem I'm running into is I don't have another Mac to pre-format these drives that I'm trying to use with these adapters. And I think it's called OS Extended, Mac OS Extended or something, is the file format that this Mac is expecting when you put a hard drive in. And so you can't do that. Well, you might be able to with a paid program, but you can't do that on a PC for the most part. You can do it on a Linux machine. I do have one. I just haven't bothered trying. But the easiest way is if you had another Mac to format a drive before you try to put it in an old Mac. So anyway, this is still running on its 10 gigabyte spinning hard drive, and it probably always will. For now, I am keeping this machine. My plan is for at least a year, see how much I use it, see how much fun I get out of it. And if I like it at the end of the year, I'll keep it. If I don't, I'll sell it on. It's a nice conversation piece. I have, my brother-in-law likes computers, built his own computer, gaming computer, and he doesn't quite understand why build old computers, but there it is. And it's a conversation piece. It's like I can talk about, well, yeah, I've been there, and it wasn't very fun, or it wasn't easy. At least it was fun. What else did I do to the computer? I think the only other thing that I did was I installed a PCI, not PCIe, but PCI USB 2.0 card on the motherboard, because it only came with USB 1.0. And if you ever try to do data transfer at 1.0 speeds, it's pretty miserable. So that's why I got a USB 2.0 card off of eBay, and it was relatively cheap. Let me see if I can find the price list of how much I spent on all these components. And there it is. These are the prices of everything I spent. Some of the stuff I wasn't able to use, but the computer itself, as you saw, $76.46. The mouse, it came with a Mighty Mouse, as it says. Those are the things I sold on the right there. So that was more modern than the mouse that should have come with this. But yeah, I bought a Mighty Mouse, or excuse me, a Pro Mouse. Uh, so this is a mouse, has one mouse button, and it operates with the whole shell being pushed down. And it is an optical mouse. It's not a ball mouse. I had thought originally that I had to buy a hockey puck mouse, if you've ever seen those for this, and I'm glad I didn't. That might have been the correct thing that this would have come with, but I'm glad I didn't buy it, because I've heard that that's a very not fun mouse to use. So yeah, bought two more sticks of 512 megabyte PC 100 RAM is what it's called. It's not DDR or anything. It's called PC 100. And I got that from eBay from a seller called Memory Masters, which might still be producing or making these classic RAM sticks. I'm not really sure. But yeah, and they work fine. They work great. I bought the processor for $25. Sold the old processor. I don't think that's. Oh, I just recently sold that for. I think I sold it for $1. Nobody wanted it. Um, yeah. Yeah. Red Faction 1 for the Mac. That was $31.65. I got a disc only copy, and I'll show you in a second. I kind of redneck made my own cover art and stuff for it. Double DVD case. Yeah, that's for the Red Faction copy. ATI Radeon 9000 Pro. That's the graphics card I bought that was actually for a PC. There is a ATI Radeon 9000 Pro. I think it's called Apple Edition or something. That might have worked, might not have worked in this system, but I got the wrong card, so I sold it on for much less than I paid for it. But that's okay. Well, it's life, whatever. I bought Yukon Trail, a game that I played a bunch as a kid. There might still be videos on my channel of me playing these games. I don't remember. Outnumbered, another game, the first game that I remember playing, period, on any system, or on PC at least, I think. Descent 2 is a game made by some of the same people who made Red Faction. The company Parallax Studios, I think it was called, split, became Riot and something else, and Riot and Volition, maybe it was Volition at that point too. And the people who weren't Riot ended up making Red Faction eventually. I only played a little bit of that. I do want to play more of that. And then Diablo 1, which I really only turned it on to see if it worked. I bought that 120, I think it was 128 gig SSD off of Amazon as a Patriot brand one. And like I said, I couldn't get it to work. SATA to IDE adapter, $10. Couldn't get it to work. Might work better with a PC. I've heard that sometimes they just don't work from people who have used similar things. DVI to HDMI adapter. How you can see the desktop, that was $650. That's a good price. It works well. I wasn't sure how good it was going to work because I wasn't sure if DVI could split or go to HDMI without like a upscaler or something box, but no, it's just a little adapter thing. CMOS battery, $5. It's already dead. I already had to reset the time on there. I don't know why. Maybe they're just bad batteries. I have no idea. And then the Mac OS installation disks. The thing that finally got Red Faction running properly was $22.50. I hate paying for OSs. I really do. I paid $13, I think, for Windows 10 on an old system that I had, just to get a real authentic copy or whatever. But otherwise, I've never paid for a OS. It just came with what it came with. But you know, I had to do what I had to do, and it ended up being the thing that fixed my problem. So let me show you some of the games that I got. The main one, there you go. You can see it well like that. Red Faction for Mac. What I did was I put the Red Faction cover art for the PlayStation 2 version on probably Microsoft Paint. And I took off the PlayStation logo and made it a Mac logo. Same thing on the spine here. The old Mac logo. Yeah. There was a member of the community who uploaded the instruction manual for the Mac version, so I printed that out. I don't remember why I made it small like this. I know I had to fit it in here, but it's a little smaller than it needs to be. And then here's the discs. One is the install disc, like some old games used to have, and then two is it acts as a key. It has to be in the system for the game to play, and it also has all the cutscenes on it. Diablo, disc only, and if you can see, oh, there we go. Windows 95 NT and Power Mac, so it works. I already had these, StarCraft, Brood War, and StarCraft, and these apparently just came where they were compatible with either, so that's great. Descent 2. Doesn't say Mac anywhere on it that I see, but it works on a Mac. This is another, I had this exact disc as a kid, exact copy. And yeah, it just works on either a PC or a Mac. And then this, Outnumbered. Again, this is the first game I ever remember playing on a PC. I don't. Okay, yeah, this is it goes with PC or Mac. So yeah, bought those. So I had fun playing those games. I didn't expect to find my old childhood games in a Mac because I never had a Mac as a kid. Let me bring up Red Faction, give you something to look at instead of my face. So yeah, here's the resolution, color depth, internet connection speed, etc., etc. This is what launchers used to look like. Um, Let me just, yeah. See, no more fog. Yukon Trail is not on Good Old Games. It's not on Steam. So it's not able to be played. I think it might be on some less legal sites, but I try to avoid those. And just so you know, this is not how the game looks on modern PCs. So don't be afraid to try this on Steam or PlayStation 4. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And here's those load screens. When I finished my other machine that I did a series on, the Goodwill PC that I got for $20. Oh, where's his pistol? I don't know. That's interesting. Speedrun failed. Let's see what we can do. Oh, isn't there a pistol here? Yeah. When I did that series, I ultimately concluded that it wasn't really worth it to have done what I did because I spent like $600 something between all the components for that Goodwill PC. And I could have bought a new PC for the same price. At the time, the HP Victus, they were selling a version of that for $650. So yeah, that was not worth it. It did give me experience with, that was my first big build, but yeah, that was not worth it. This, I would say it was worth it because I have this sickness where I want everything to be completed except for this video series. So I really wanted Red Faction to have a Mac version up on the board for speedrun.com. The game came out on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 2, PC, and Mac. There was a, how a lot of old games had lesser handheld versions. Red Faction was the same way, except the handheld version was actually the N-Gage that came out for the N-Gage. And it's if you play the original N-Gage version, it is brutally difficult. And if I tell you who made it, you might understand why. It was made by, I think they were called Monkey Stone Games, who was headed by the grandfather of difficult FPSs, John Romero. So, yeah, it was. I've seen people play it, and people have speedrun it. God bless them. I don't want to do it, but Mac was not represented, and so now it is. It's last where it belongs. Yeah, I remember I wanted to talk in my original video that I was doing about Macs in general. So I never had a Mac. This is my first Apple product, period. I did not have an iPod. I never had an iPhone. Yeah, I've. I think that my elementary school might have had some Macs in the computer labs, but you know, that was a long time ago, so I can't tell you for sure. Where did they all go? What? That was weird. Well, I did it differently than I normally do it, so. Yeah. So, I always viewed Macs as something that was incompatible with what I needed to get done because whenever we were educated on PCs, we were not ever educated on Apples. So if you've ever tried to play or do anything on a Mac desktop, everything's different. There's no Windows key, of course, on the keyboard. It's an Apple key instead of Alt, I think. No, it does say Alt, but it also says Option. There is no like Control Alt Delete. I forget. There's something equivalent. And I was just never taught about it. And we reset because I pressed the wrong button and loaded a save of the end of the game. But anyway, yeah, I have zero experience with Macs. I remember the only other thing I remember in high school, we had a video project we had to do at the end of the year, and some people had Macs, but the teacher made it very clear when you gave him the video project, it had to be on either MP3 format or it had to be on a VHS at the time. um, and throughout college, that's all I ever heard about Macs was if you try to send me your project in a format that I can't read it, it's as if you'd never sent it. So I always viewed it as a system where yeah, that was for people who were in like the media majors, art, music, etc., video editing, but not for me. I just loaded a random save because yeah, it doesn't want to work for me sometimes. I don't know how to change. Oh, there, yeah. Now, interesting with only having one mouse button. I think it is you hit Control. Yes, you hit Control and click, and it's the secondary fire. Wow, I promise this looks better on a modern PC, and it looks better on PlayStation 2, even. But I'm stuck on playing, for illustration purposes. So I remember in college once I needed to look something up, and this is the era before smartphones. You didn't have something right at your fingertips where you could look up whatever you had to look up. And I was in the basement of the library of the college I went to, which was the media center, and it of course had all kinds of stuff. But I was specifically in the media center section where they had a whole bunch of Macs. So I sat down to try to look something up, and I couldn't figure out how to turn it on because Mac designers at that time, maybe to make the face look prettier, they put the power button on the back of it. So I eventually figured it out, but then I couldn't get done what I wanted to get done. So another bad experience with Mac. So I've always viewed Mac as honestly something for hipsters. I did have my views on Apple products changed? Yes, actually. Um, this works really well for a computer of its age. Um, get the pistol out in case there's something here I gotta kill. Don't remember. Because I don't usually go this way. Yep, there he is. and yeah, it works really well. And it's got me to the point where I've even thought about, for like media PCs for streaming and stuff, of getting like a Mac Mini, an old Mac Mini, getting a small MacBook Air, I think they're called, the old ones, because I think that they have better staying power than older PCs. Mac tends, as far as I understand, they tend to put in quality parts in their computers. So I trust a Mac to last longer than I trust a PC to last. Have I bought any other Apple products? No. Have I put an Apple sticker on the back of my truck window? Nah, nope. I'm not still not a Mac guy, but this really, destroyed my prejudice about the system that I had had based on experiences. It's not bad. It's just different. Of course, you see me playing this game and it looks ugly. I think a PC at the same time would probably look similar. I can't prove that to you. I have looked for period correct PCs to play Red Faction. Actually have, yeah, a PC version as well, sealed. But old PCs from around 2001, incredibly expensive if you can find them. So yeah, uh, that's okay. This is Red Faction 1.0 for Mac. It's close enough to Red Faction 1.0 for PC. I'm not gonna buy a old PC to play the game again. But yeah, I really enjoyed this experience. The speedrun, as you saw, did not go very well, but just to get an old machine is like a piece of history. The Power Mac G3, G4, to a lesser extent G5 cases are iconic. They look great. I've looked several times to see if anybody's selling just the case, and if they were, it was always too expensive. Oh, idle animation. So yeah, and it feels like sacrilege to like rip everything out of one of these and put a PC in it. So in conclusion, yes, I'm glad I did this. I would do it again. Um, I love my little Power Mac, big Power Mac G4, and I think I'm gonna keep it. Maybe not so much for Red Faction, but these other games that I had as a kid that I get to play in a very real way rather than pulling them from sites that are, kind of dodgy. And it's a nice conversation piece. It's kind of feels bad to say something like that about a computer, but it is. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it didn't cost too much. I really wish I could get a faster hard drive in this, but it works. I'm playing Red Faction. Because I played this originally on PlayStation 2, this looks terrible compared to PlayStation 2. It loads faster, but it's just cool to experience it the way the guys in the community who picked this up back in 2001 for PC. Some people played it on Mac, and experienced it the way they experienced it. It's like um, it's like going in a time machine almost. I really like this. Um, okay, for real this time, to conclude, yes, this has been a lot of fun. If you have any questions about this build, well, not really a build, but restoration and Red Faction, or the speed run of Red Faction, or anything, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.